Hey, everybody, welcome. I am excited that you're here, and I'm excited to introduce you to my guest today, Paula Mosher Wallace. Hi, Paula. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Janet. Thrilled to be here.
Yeah. And Paula is founder of Bloom in the Dark Incorporated, producer, director, co host at Bloom Today TV show, and producer co host at RS4L TV. Wow. And Paula certainly is busy, but the God has certainly opened some doors for her to share her story. And so, if you will, Paula, share with us what has God given you to do in this season, and how is faith helping you do it?
So, he's given me a kind of unique calling, as you can see from my t shirt that
Yes.
I am strategically wearing for this. That I have been a victim in the past. And people are like, I wear this out in public, and people, what does being an ex victim mean? And my answer is, it means been there, done that, got the t shirt.
That's right. Literally.
Literally. So I was a victim in a whole lot of circumstances by a whole lot of different people starting at the age of 2. And God brought hope and healing in my life at a very intensive level when I was suicidal at the age of 34, which is 17 and a half years ago. And my calling since 2015 and my mission has been to help others with the help that I needed.
Yeah.
So when God asked me, what did you need the most when you were hurting the worst? My real answer to him was, I needed to know that I was not alone and there was hope. I needed to know I was not alone as a victim of childhood sexual abuse when I got raped at 5. I needed to know I was not alone by physical abuse from a foster mom when I was 2 to 3 years old. I
Mm.
needed to know I was not alone in an abusive marriage. I was not alone in workplace abuse that turned into a federal lawsuit. I was not alone in the betrayal of having my husband and best friend sleep together off and on for 5 years before
Oh,
my marriage ended.
goodness.
I needed to know I was not alone in places of shame and brokenness and
Mm,
embarrassment. I needed to know I was not alone growing up in a Christian cult environment where I
mm,
experienced a lot of damage. I needed to know I was not alone and there was hope, because without hope, and when the brokenness is hidden and it's a secret, and even people I grew up with who were right there all the time had no idea
yeah.
most of what happened to me.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was having a conversation yesterday about that, where they're like, when you came public, we were like, what? We didn't know any of that. Are you sure you're not making it up?
Oh,
And the reality is, we hide the things we're ashamed of. And until you know that it's not your shame to carry, until
mhm.
you know that I don't need to pretend I wasn't a victim, I don't need to just be a survivor or a overcomer. Those are good things, but I'm actually healed enough to own that I was a victim, and that I can use my story of that to
Mhm.
not to glorify the brokenness or the damage, and not to seek attention and all the things that
Right,
people throw off on you.
right.
But I get to share it because they overcame Satan by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And God's called me to bring those testimonies to light.
Mm,
To you can't get blackmailed over something that is public knowledge. You can
right.
only get blackmailed for secrets. And when we
Very
bring
true.
that damage to the light, when we just take the power Satan has to hide it and to add shame and guilt, to isolate us, to torment us in that space, and we actually have the ability to get help, to get support,
Mm,
to work through the damage. And so my calling is to raise awareness, to bring hope and healing, to bring tools, to share my story, and to help hundreds of other people share their stories
mm.
as well, so that the enemy just doesn't get to keep people trapped in those lies that come
Yeah.
with brokenness, abuse, addiction, any of the shame based
Yes.
stories that
Mm.
we feel isolated and therefore don't get the help we need.
Yeah. And that's wonderful. And thank you for being obedient uh, to the Lord's calling, because I know what you're doing is such a blessing and inspiration and helpful, giving people hope that there is hope for them. Now you're on television, RS4L TV, and I see here in your bio that you have 4 Telly Awards that show about your dedication to quality in your work. And goodness, you've got a podcast, 7 published books, online courses, and a feature film script to your credit. So, tell us a little bit about the television show that you co-host, or
Well, the first one was Bloom Today, and the tagline is we use the fertilizer of our past to bloom today.
mm,
And most of us have fertilizer. It took
yes,
me a year and a half to figure out how to say that without swearing.
wow,
Just being honest there.
that's
Uh,
right, that's okay.
but using that fertilizer to bloom, and on that TV show, we sit in a kitchen and have coffee with guests that come and
Yeah,
tell their story of brokenness, abuse, addiction, loss,
yeah,
damage of whatever sort, and how
yeah,
God came in and brought healing. And then they get to share their ministries, their books, the things that God's done. It just so makes me happy that we get to share that hope and healing.
absolutely.
And then RS4L stands for Recovery Strategies for Life. And that is our second TV show, which is actually videos from our curriculum, Recovery Strategies for Life, which is a 52-week, 1-year program to come out of trauma,
Mm,
addiction, extreme loss, attachment issues, all the damage that the enemy uses to hurt
wow,
us. And we adapted the teaching videos for 30 of those 52 episodes into television format. And that is the second TV show. And God has just done miracles. Both shows are in 3 languages, in
oh
over
my goodness,
44 networks and platforms around the world. And God has touched people and brought hope
mm,
and healing in just crazy ways by getting that message out that far and wide,
wow,
where you're not alone and there's hope is done on a huge level.
yeah,
And only God, because I came into all this knowing nothing about it, having panic attacks when I walked in front of cameras,
right,
having
yeah,
no idea what I was doing, but God gifted me with the ability to learn quickly. And then
that's
he
what he
brought
does.
around me the people that did have the knowledge and experience and the giftings to make it possible, and all of the grace for me to walk through the extremely messy process of learning how to go public with
Mm,
the things that we most desperately want to hide,
right,
and to
right.
do it with the focus being on God and healing and not on me or the enemy's brokenness in that space.
Mhm,
So,
mhm. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, where can we see the show?
well, it's all over the place, but we don't have control over the scheduling with any of the networks. And so I recommend people go to our app or website, both called Bloom in the Dark, and you actually have access to watch a lot of the videos from both of our TV shows through our app, and you can just watch it on your phone or tablet. You can watch it on your computer. We want you to be able to do that. Some of the stuff is on YouTube based on networks that put it there,
Right.
and you can Google and search for a variety of different places to watch it. But the easiest to direct you to on demand is through our own app or website.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, well, as you can tell Paula has had quite a life and lots to share with people, and lots of hope that she can give. Thank you, Paula, for joining me and for being my guest today and sharing with us what God has you doing in this season with your story. Thank you. And thank you all for watching. I would like to give a shout out to Abundant TV, just a great network for you and your family. Have faith and look up, friends, where our help comes from. Bye. God bless.